Gray Hair Coverage Techniques Part 9. Learning Objectives. 1. Explain the special hair coloring techniques for gray hair. 2. Describe common hair coloring challenges and potential solutions. How can specialized hair coloring techniques be used to achieve optimal coverage and dimension on gray hair? What are the most common hair coloring challenges and what professional solutions can be used to address them effectively? Each hair coloring service can present unique challenges, with gray hair coverage being no exception. Becoming an expert in gray coverage is important because the number one reason clients request color services is to cover, camouflage, or blend their gray hair. Allow enough time for a complete analysis of the client's hair, particularly in estimating the total percentage of gray hair and identifying areas where gray hair is concentrated. See Table 16 through 3. Consider pre-treating gray hair and then adjusting your color formulas to provide the desired coverage. Candides. Gray hair is caused by pigment reduction on the cortical layer. The medical term for hair grayness or whiteness is candides. Gray, white, and salt and pepper hair present unique coloring challenges. However, several techniques for coloring gray hair will successfully cover, blend, or camouflage gray hair. Did you know gray hair can develop an unwanted yellow cast, which can be caused by various factors including smoking, medication, sun exposure, hairsprays and styling aids, and high heat styling tools? Violet anti-yellow shampoos temporarily neutralize yellow and gray hair. Lightener can be used to eliminate a yellow undertone. Undesirable yellow can be neutralized by violet-based colors of an equal or darker yellow than the yellow. Clarifying shampoos can help eliminate the yellow staining in gray hair. Formulating for gray hair. Gray hair typically accepts the level of the color applied. However, level 8 or lighter colors may not give complete coverage because of the lighter color's low dye concentration and the hair's complete lack of pigment. Formulations from level 7 and darker provide better coverage because they contain more pigment, but it can be challenging to deposit several levels darker on moisture-resistant hair. For clients who are 80 to 100% gray, a hair color with the blonde range is generally more blendable and requires less maintenance than darker shades. This lighter level of artificial color may be selected to give a warm or cool finish color, depending on the client's skin tone, eye color, and personal preference. Clients with both coarse hair and over 70% gray can be the most difficult to cover. Another popular color trend is taking clients who have been fully covering their gray hair with hair color back to their natural gray pattern. This technique requires skill and foil placement of both highlights and lowlights and can take several sessions. Once the color is achieved, clients can come in for maintenance and toners to keep the hair silvery and cool. Trends change often, and knowing the latest gray blending techniques is an invaluable skill. When coloring low percentages of gray and salt and pepper hair to a darker level, consider that the addition of dark artificial pigment to the natural pigment results in a color that the eye perceives as darker. For this reason, when covering the unpigmented hair on a salt and pepper head, formulate 1 to 2 levels lightener than the natural level to ensure a more natural result when doing complete coverage. Gray hair tends to be cool and have a dusty ash tone to it. When blending or camouflaging, ash tones blend most naturally with the existing gray hair. Even natural redheads and warm blondes begin to have an ash tone as they gray. Formulating for gray hair. Gray hair typically accepts the level of the color applied. However, level 8 or lighter colors may not give complete coverage because of the lighter color's low dye concentration and the hair's complete lack of pigment. Formulations from level 7 and darker provide better coverage because they contain more pigment, but it can be challenging to deposit several levels darker on moisture-resistant hair. For clients who are 80 to 100% gray, a hair color within the blonde range is generally more blendable and requires less maintenance than darker shades. This lighter level of artificial color may be selected to give a warm or cool finish color, depending on the client's skin tone, eye color, and personal preference. When coloring low percentages of gray or salt and pepper hair to a darker level, consider that the addition of dark artificial pigment to the natural pigment results in a color that the eye perceives as darker. For this reason, when covering the unpigmented hair on a salt and pepper head, formulate 1 to 2 levels lighter than the natural level to ensure a more natural result when doing complete coverage. Gray hair tends to be cool and have a dusty ash tone to it. When blending or camouflaging ash tones, blend most naturally with the existing gray hair. Even natural redheads and warm blondes begin to have an ash as they gray. Another popular color trend is taking clients who have been fully covering their gray hair with the hair color back to their natural gray pattern. This technique requires skill in foil placement of both highlights and lowlights and can take several sessions. Once the color is achieved, clients can come in for maintenance and toners to keep their hair silvery and cool. Trends change often, and knowing the latest gray blending techniques is an invaluable skill. Hair that is absent of pigment can be very challenging to color. As the hair loses pigment, the cuticle closes more tightly. Free radicals build up and medications can coat the hair strand, giving it a yellowish appearance. Due to its low porosity, the hair becomes resistant to color as well. There are many ways to counteract the resistance: by using higher developer volume to strengthen the color mixture or by pre-softening the hair. Several techniques can be used to pre-soften hair, including products already on the market specifically for gray coverage preparation. Clients with both coarse hair and over 70% gray can be most difficult to cover. Permanent color formulation for gray hair. Semi-permanent, demi-permanent color formulation for gray hair. Tips for achieving gray coverage. For complete gray coverage, use an alkaline-based permanent hair color. Follow these tips. Formulate at a level 7 or deeper for the best gray coverage. Use 20 volume developer or higher. Process color for 45 minutes or according to the manufacturer's directions for gray coverage. Add neutral tones to the formula due to lack of pigment. If 25% gray is present, use 25% natural tones in the formula. If 50% gray is present, use 50% natural tones in the formula. If 75% is present, use 75% natural tones in the formula. Color-resistant gray hair. Because many of today's permanent hair color brands are formulated to color and completely cover gray, it is not always necessary to pre-treat gray, especially fine or level 7 and lower hair. However, some gray is so resistant that it still needs to be pre-treated to ensure complete coverage. Steps for pre-treating gray and or resistant areas. Examine the regrowth for resistant areas. Typical areas include just in front of the ears, the temple areas, and parts of the front hairline. There could be other areas as well. It can be helpful to discuss previous gray coverage issues with your client. Using 20 volume developer or higher, prepare your hair color formula, level 7 or lower, and apply to the regrowth in the pre-treated areas. Use 3.2 centimeter sections in restraint areas. After the application is finished, reapply your color where stubborn hair is found and process for 45 minutes. Using 20 volume developer or higher, prepare your hair color formula, level 7 or lower, and apply to the regrowth in the pre-treated areas first. Use 3.2 centimeter sections in resistant areas. After the application is finished, apply foil or end papers to keep the resistant hair saturated. Foil offers some heat conduction to help open the cuticle. End papers assist in control and saturation. Special hair color challenges and solutions. Sometimes the color may not turn out as expected. Although this can seem bad for you and your client, it does not need to be this way. Problems can always be corrected. Keep the following rules in mind. Remain calm, determine the nature of the problem, determine what caused the problem, develop a solution, always take one step at a time, never guarantee an exact result, and always perform a strand test for accuracy before all hair color services. Hair color tips for damaged hair. Blow dryers, flat irons, harsh shampoos, wind, sun, salt water, chlorinated water, chemical services, and even improper brushing or combing all takes a toll on the condition of the hair. Hair is considered damaged when it has one or more of the following characteristics: rough texture, overly porous condition, brittle and dry to the touch, susceptible for breakage, poor elasticity, becomes spongy and matted when wet, color fades too quickly or grabs too dark. Any of these hair conditions will create problems during a hair coloring, lightening, permanent waving, or relaxing treatment. Therefore, even mildly damaged hair should receive reconditioning treatments before and after hair coloring services. If the hair is extremely damaged, set up a series of weekly or bi-monthly treatments to improve the hair's conditions before performing the service. Tips for dealing with damaged hair as follows. Use a penetrating condition that can deposit protein, oil, and moisture-rich ingredients. Complete each chemical service by normalizing the pH with an acidic finishing rinse to restore the cuticle's ability to protect the hair. Postpone any further chemical services until the hair is reconditioned. Hair color offers textured hair clients a lot of versatility. Having a firm understanding of how to treat and color curly hair will expand your clientele. More and more clients are opting to wear their hair natural and embrace their curl pattern. A thorough understanding of texture, fine, medium, and coarse, and curl patterns allow you to make the best decisions for your clients. Recommend the proper products to maintain the finished hair color and aftercare maintenance. Clients who are committed to a curly style may require more home maintenance and products than straight hair clients. Speaking to them about the cost of at-home maintenance will improve the longevity of the color service. Some tips for both in the salon and at home to consider are: extra consideration is required for stretching for control before color service. Extra consideration is required for detangling before color service. Extremely porous hair will likely use more product and need products with higher viscosity. Consider how the client will be wearing their hair. Curly hair can be fragile and loose curl pattern, especially if over-processed. When formulating, always consider the integrity of the curl pattern. High volume developers and powder lighteners may be too strong for some textures and curly patterns. When deciding the highlight pattern, mirror the width of the curl. Fine highlights will disappear in curly hair. Will they have other chemical services? Relaxing and straightening treatments can change their color options or prevent a service. Recommend plopping, wrapping, wearing a satin silk bonnet, or using satin silk pillowcases to maintain curls and prevent drying out at night. Hair color tips for redheads. Fading is a common problem with color-treated red hair. A daily shampoo and blow dry or a few days in the pool or at the beach can cause red hair's artificial pigment to oxidize and fade. Recommend the proper products to maintain the finished hair color. Tips for redheads include: to create warm coppery reds, use a red-orange or a red-gold base color. To create neutral to cool reds, use a true red, intense red, or violet red base color. After the hair has been colored with a permanent color, always use a demi-permanent color to refresh the shaft and ends. Hair color tips for brunettes. Brunette shades must be expertly formulated to enhance wanted tones and minimize unwanted tones. Tips for brunettes include: to avoid orange and brassy tones when lifting brown hair with permanent color, always use a cool blue or green base. To avoid unwanted brassy tones, do not lighten more than 2 levels above the natural color. For natural highlights in brunette hair, the highlighted pieces should be more than 2 levels lighter than the balance of the hair. Hair color tips for blondes. From single process blonde to highlighting, blonde hair color possibilities are endless. As you work with blonde hair, keep the following tips in mind. When lightening brown hair to blonde, there will be underlying unwanted warm tones. When lightening blonde hair levels 7 or higher, there will be a higher concentration of pheomelanin and unwanted orange tones that take time to break through. Double process blonding is the best way to obtain pale blonde results. This is a strong process that may require treatments with an additional products for clients to use at home. If high-lift blondes that lift only 4 levels are used on level 4 and below, the result will be a color that is too warm or brassy. If highlights become too blonde or all one color, lowlights or deeper strands can be foiled into the hair to create a more natural color. For lowlights, choose a shade between the highlighted shade and the base color and add gold to your formulation. For example, if the highlighted strands are a level 9 and the base is a level 5, choosing a level 7 gold for the lowlight is a good option. An all-over glaze will add warmth and shine to an over-processed blonde. Choosing shades with gold tones help the sparkle in pale blondes. For low lights, choose a shade between the highlighted shade and the base color. Using a dark low light, even at a level 6, can look black by comparison. Never choose a shade more than 2 shades darker than the base when selecting a low light color. Not all blondes want to be ash blonde, nor is that suitable for all skin tones. Selecting the right blonde base shade for your client's natural pigmentation will give the best outcome. Cool blondes may require lifting the hair past any remaining underlining pigment, which is not always recommended. Common hair color solutions: refresh faded color, neutralize green cast, correct overall too light hair color, correct overall too dark hair color. As a cosmetologist, you will encounter minor hair color challenges on a frequent basis. These may include faded color, hair with a green cast, too light or too dark hair color, or the need to restore blonde hair color to a natural hair color. If it is not time for a touch-up service, but your client's hair looks dull and faded, mix a demi-permanent hair color in the same tonal family and 1 to 2 levels lighter than your original hair color formula. Apply all over and check frequently, allowing a processing time of up to 10 minutes. Neutralize green cast. If the client's hair has mineral buildup from well water or chlorine, purify the hair with a product designed to remove mineral buildup. Apply a demi-permanent color to neutralize any unwanted color that remains in the hair. Correct overall too light hair color. To correct over-lightened hair caused by the formula you used or sun fade, apply a demi-permanent color that is 1 to 2 levels darker than the previous formula. Consider a conditioning filler to even porosity and prevent fading. Common hair color solutions: restore blonde to natural hair color. Restoring a client's blonde hair back to its natural darker color can be tricky. Even if the client says that they want to go back to their natural color, they may not like it. They are used to seeing light hair, and going too dark could be disastrous. Here are a few tips on restoring the client's natural color. 1. Evaluate the hair's condition, including porosity, elasticity, and visible damage. 2. Evaluate the existing color in terms of level, tone, warm, neutral, or cool, and color balance. 3. Place targeted hair color swatches on the client's existing blonde hair to visibly demonstrate the difference in level and color. It is common for clients to decide that their requested color is too dark. Follow all the color consultation steps outlined in this chapter. Shortcuts are never recommended when performing color services. 2. Study the existing regrowth to determine the natural hair color. It is much easier to match the existing natural hair color when there is substantial growth. 3. Remain focused on the targeted level and its contributing pigments. This can be done with a traditional protein filler or a semi-permanent or demi-permanent hair color. If you use a semi or a demi-permanent hair color, select a level lighter than the targeted color. 4. Tell your clients not to be alarmed if the color they see when the color filler is applied appears unusual. You are depositing underlying pigments, which may appear different than the desired shade due to the combination of colors. 5. For the final formulation, take into account whether you are creating a warm or cool color. Warm colors reflect light. Cool colors absorb light, making them appear darker. Adjust your level choice accordingly. 6. Depending on the hair's condition and health, you may choose to initially deepen the hair color with a permanent formulation to enhance longevity, or a demi-permanent formulation that is gentler on the hair but tends to fade more quickly. 7. Always refresh the new hair color using a demi-permanent formulation. Caution. Sometimes hair is so damaged and overly porous that there may be insufficient structure left within the cortex for the artificial pigment to attach to. Gunmetal gray hair is a danger sign. Hair that is this porous is very fragile and may be close to the breaking point.